The plight of Southeast Asian countries. Where is the fairness? Having lived in a small Southeast Asian country for over 20 years, I have grown accustomed to the environment here. However, since I began working in the field of social media, I have discovered a situation that is both frustrating and troubling. There is a significant degree of unfairness in the realms of affiliate marketing and passive income. Passive income, as it is known, requires us to register with companies and join their affiliate programs. However, many large Western companies, particularly those with well-known brands, often refuse to allow users from these smaller countries to participate. They typically tell you politely that your region is currently unable to access their services or that you are not permitted to engage in such business. This kind of situation can be infuriating and disheartening, as it makes it clear that these companies view the markets of smaller countries as insignificant and not worth developing. This attitude leaves the people of these smaller countries feeling excluded and disrespected. Are these so-called democratic, free countries and companies truly fair? Are they fair to the people of other countries? Absolutely not. Their global ambitions are merely a facade, open only to countries and regions that align with their interests, while excluding and restricting other regions. This unequal approach does not reflect genuine global cooperation. Instead, it exacerbates international inequality. These large companies and major powers treat smaller countries with condescension and arrogance, leaving us feeling powerless. Why do they refuse to let us register or promote their products? Because they simply look down on us. Despite their talk of globalization, their actual practices are exclusionary, which leads to deep frustration and powerlessness. In today's digital age, these kinds of statements are nothing but lies. The supposed global cooperation is often just a front to serve the interests of large countries and companies. Their priority is their own benefit, not fair competition or the interests of the global community. The voices of smaller countries are often ignored in this context, making it difficult to secure respect or achieve their fair share on the international stage. How can we talk about equality? Can small Southeast Asian countries achieve equality with superpowers? It's impossible. Smaller countries face numerous barriers on the international stage, including cultural and political discrimination, making it challenging for them to compete on equal footing globally. We often have no choice but to accept these injustices, as our power is limited. Fairness may be relative, but unfairness is absolute, particularly between nations. As citizens of smaller countries, we must recognize this reality and seek more opportunities to strengthen our influence on the international stage. Through continuous unity and collaboration, we might be able to secure more opportunities for smaller countries in the global market. We need to show the world that we have the ability, talent, and potential to compete globally. Finally, I want to emphasize this point. The plight of small countries lies in facing the arrogance and unfairness of large companies and nations. We can only struggle to survive in this unequal world, but that does not mean we will abandon our pursuit of fairness and justice. Large companies and countries are continuously imposing various restrictions and taking away opportunities from smaller countries, which does nothing to promote global fairness. In a world like this, how can we find true fairness and justice? Are the so-called globalization and freedom only beneficial to these larger entities? Should we take more action to defend our rights? These are questions we must continue to contemplate and strive to answer.